how do you navigate your design business to make it profitable? So many issues. As a single solo entrepreneur, I'm just building my team now, which is fantastic. But as a solo entrepreneur, I'm always, up against, you're always having problems. You're always having problems. You're always having problems because you're solving problems. That's why you're in business. You're solving problems. If you don't have problems, you don't have a business. If you don't have problems to solve, you don't have a business. So when I'm helping people, it's to help solve their problems. But in there's lots of problems. So some of my sad problems, one of my problems is I started building a team. I have a great team. And my office coordinator has been with me now for a year and a half. She's fabulous. Honestly, I couldn't go on vacation without her. She's taken over so many of the tasks that not that I don't like doing them, but if I don't have to do them, that's fabulous. And it took a lot of training. It took a lot of training to get her where she is. And then she will be leaving us. I'm so sad. A great opportunity for her, which is great. And I want to see the best for her, but it just means that I got to find somebody else. So one of the things I did when my office coordinator came on board is I started doing SOPs, standard operating procedures, and but me, I'm not doing them. Like I started off I have a training, and then I started off by getting her to create the SOPs as we're moving along. So if you're thinking about hiring somebody, you don't have to have the SOPs. Yeah, it's great if you do, but it can be very time consuming. And if you don't have an employee, they're probably up in your head. So how do you get them out of your head and having the other person in your office know what the heck to do and what you're thinking? So SOPs are obviously the way to do that. But I did have she started off as a admin assistant, and now she's my office coordinator. I did have her do SOPs. So hopefully when she leaves, as I'm looking for a new employee, someone to take her place, I have a lot of the training that doesn't require me to be there and explain it. She's going to have the SOPs, or he's going to have the SOPs in place that my office coordinator created. And that's going to alleviate a large portion of the training, because what I found that if you don't do the training properly, you're creating an opportunity for your employees to fail. Because it happened to me. I didn't know. I'm just like, oh, I am the business owner. I'm thinking everybody wants to be involved in the creation of this business. Well, it's my baby. So it's what motivates me, and doesn't mean it's going to motivate everybody else. Everybody has different motivations, whether it's money, whether it's fulfilling their purpose, whether it's helping people, lots of different motivations for working. And for me, it's I love helping people and bringing beauty into the world. And I do that I do that with interior design. So my first employer I ever had failed. My fault. I didn't have SOPs. I just was like, come on, we're going to figure this out. No, it doesn't work like that. I've learned. So these standard operating procedures are hopefully going to contribute to the faster training for the new person who comes onto my team. It also is going to alleviate my workload, because it does take time, and it's, for someone to feel very comfortable, it's a 3 to 6 month process for them to understand all the workings and how they fit in and where their best work is. But things also change. They're the same and then they change. It's always I do a project and I've done I learned something. I often say I will never do it like that again. But the fact is, the next project is going to have problems, and I'm going to say, oh my gosh, why am I dealing with this? It's just going to be new problems. So, but those problems that we did have added certainty to the SOPs, as in we only do it like this now. We only ever order fabric after we get the CFA, cutting for approval. For those that don't know, cutting for approval, we buy the fabric. We had a problem. I never had a problem. And then it resulted in even bigger problems. And we're always doing a CFA. It takes extra time, but it ensures that there are no mistakes because somebody's paying for those mistakes. And I don't want that to be me because I know that I feel responsible and I will take the responsibility for that. And that often means that I have to suck it up and take the financial hit on that. So how can we do that how can we alleviate those financial hits and creating SOPs that we adhere to? And it just becomes an SOP. Best thing is that people aren't coming to me and asking, how do we do this? Like, oh, what should we do about this? It's like, there's an SOP. It's always like this. We always get in a CFA. Like, there's no questions about it. So it has been totally so helpful, but it's also been great because I didn't actually create the SOPs. I had my employee do that. And that's what you can have your employees do. And since I happen to be talking about SOPs, one way of doing an SOP too is you get on a Zoom call and you share the screen and you record it. So you say, okay, and what you do is you go here and you take those steps on the recording in which you're explaining and you're training, but you're also creating the training video for it. And then you have now you have a training video, you get it written down. So now you have a written record of it. People learn very differently. So if you can do a video where you're actually showing it, if you can do a written one step by step, you can make sure that new people onboarding, coming on board for your team now have like plenty of options to learn, plenty of places where the information is available. And if they are a visual learner, they can do the video. If they learn better from reading, they have the written SOP. So yeah, so I'm really happy because I started that with my admin assistant at that point, who's now my office coordinator. And now she's leaving. Boo, boo. I'm really upset about it, but I'm so happy for her. So SOP, love them. And they should be in any business. Yeah, it's so difficult if you are a solopreneur, you're working by yourself to think, I'm going to do SOPs. Maybe you don't do SOPs, but they can only help you when you grow. But also, like, you don't have to keep the mental load of making a decision all the time about what to do. Because when you have your policies written down and your standard operating procedures written down, you are not making exceptions. This is the policies that you have set as a business owner, which is why you're in business in the first place, to do it the way you want to do it. And you don't change from that. The only reason you change from that is because those SOPs aren't working and it hasn't worked all of a sudden, or it gets changed because there's a better way of doing it. But if you have that SOP, now you don't have the mental load of like, oh, what should I do? Because you're going to get that. And the mental load as a entrepreneur, as a business owner, can be very overwhelming. I love SOPs. I didn't used to, but man, they are so helpful. So any of you out there, love to hear if you're out there, put a comment in whether you have SOPs, whether you've done SOPs, whether they've helped you. Love to know that. Certainly helped me. And now there's lots of things I don't even have to think about because there's an SOP. In fact, my office coordinator has reminded me, we don't do it like that, Risha. This is the SOP. I'm like, you're right. You're right. And has saved me. Saved me from myself because we put most of the SOPs that are in place are because things didn't work. We had a problem. I'm like, I don't want to have that problem again. We're making this and we're only doing it this way. And she's reminded me. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry that you're leaving me. But the next person that's coming on now has a plethora of information that is going to help them move forward faster and help me build my company. So I'm very happy about SOPs. SOPs are great. So yeah, usually Elizabeth is on here with me and we're talking about design T, what makes it tick, how you get a business, how, the problems of a business, interior design business. The business part of interior design, which they don't teach you at design school. So then you're having to make it up yourself, figure it out yourself, and that can suck. So we have been talking for a while and we decided, why not go on to and share these conversations? And if they can help somebody else with their business, with the way they do business and help them grow their abundance, like, that's fantastic. Plus, it really helps me. It's helped me talk about it. It reminds me, like, the SOPs. Yes, so important. Nobody can read my mind. And now I have gotten so much benefit from these SOPs. So don't not do them. Don't not do them. You can even put in chat, hey, help me with SOP for this. It'll tell you. How do I do this? You got an SOP. Like there are times, what was it? I needed to do something with one of the programs. Oh, I wanted to cancel a program and I couldn't figure out how to get in and cancel it. Went to chat. Okay, how do you cancel this? Gave me step by step. It told me exactly how to cancel that program. I'm like, this is awesome. That's an SOP right there. Cancel, I think it was Go High Level. I was canceling my Go High Level, my CRM, using another one right there. Now, I probably won't use that one again, although that's not true because I tried once before, Go High Level, never used it. And I tried again because someone recommended it. And I'm like, oh, no, too robust for my needs. So I'm very happy with my CRM, which is Active Campaign. I don't know if everybody has CRMs. You should. If you're building a business, you need a CRM. I was talking to my brother, worked for a business. He's moved jobs, but they had a multi-million-dollar business he was working for, and he didn't have his CRM, and it was a national company. How, in this day and age, how do you not have a CRM? Because that CRM is what I use to make sure I continue to connect with my clients, with my potential clients, with people that I want to help. I mean, I keep all their information in there so that I can have access to it if I want to remember the conversations I had with them. It allows me to reach out to them with regular and automated emails that we set up and we schedule. So we're getting in touch with our followers, people who want to know about us. I mean, we at Walden Interiors, we do a podcast, we do this design tea. We have a list of clients and potential clients, people who've done kitchens. And so we're able to break down the whole list, keep track of who's on our list and who is interested in us and who isn't. Like people unsubscribe all the time. Good. Well, I guess you won't be. You'll come back. Maybe you'll come back when you're ready for us. But the CRM is so important. I couldn't believe for a national company that they didn't have a CRM. So you should have a CRM too. That's a really important piece of having a business, even if you have 100 contacts. You just get them in there and start building this list of contacts. All the people all your trades, all your vendors, potential clients, neighbors, your power people, like your friends and neighbors and family that know about you. You got to keep yourself top of mind. It doesn't mean that you need to send an email every day, although I don't see why not. But if you want people to remember you, you need to be reaching out to them somehow. And we put out different emails about different things. Do-it-yourself information, before and afters. People love our before and afters. They're always phenomenal. Of course, they're always phenomenal. So the before and afters. So we also see what people are interested in, which is we know before and afters are a big interest. And that is one way we stay in contact with people. You never know. They're building a new home. They're moving. They have a friend. They know somebody. They came into a bunch of money and now they're like ready. They need you. Whatever the reasons, you want to stay in contact with all those people. And the CRM is the fastest, easiest way to do it. So start with your CRM. Oh, yeah. And I also get reminders on my CRM. Like when I get a new lead, I put it in and then it goes through a process where it sending out an email on certain days, not for them, but for me. You haven't spoken to these people, to this potential client for 5 days. Call them again. Now, if I have and I've set up something, obviously I just stop that automation, but I have like a 30-day automation for that. So call them, text them, video text, email, call, whatever it is, send them information. That just ensures that I am reaching out to them regularly, because one phone call is not going to do it. One phone call you called is that's not going to sell them. You want to build their trust, and you do that by showing that you are interested, that they are important, and that you want to help them. And and the follow-up is as important as the first call. So I have training. But if you haven't hired somebody, the other way you can do training is you can actually get them to go and do their own training and create a training. Like, I'm a vegan interior designer. So that means I don't use any animal products, or to my best of my ability, I don't use any animal products in my interior design. Now, that being said, there are some difficult areas where it's hard to know whether or not I'm using any animal products. Paint. There is paint, and most of the paint companies, US paint companies, do not sell vegan paint. So there are some animal products in the vegan paint, whether it's in the colors or whether it's in the stabilizer, whatever, there's an animal product in there. So although let me say that Sherwin-Williams has come out with a plant-based paint line recently. So that has made me switch over to using Sherwin-Williams instead of Benjamin Moore, which I often use. But Benjamin Moore had a paint line, which they discontinued a couple of years ago. So as a vegan interior designer, training. So not only do you have to know, as an interior designer, you have to know what we do, what is interior design, what does that encompass? So learn about Walden Interiors, learn about vegan interiors, because the one thing that helps me is my curiosity. So when I'm looking at new products, when I'm looking at new companies, I'm always asking questions. I remember there was this US made furniture company that I was thinking about specifying some furniture from, and I hadn't used them before. And I said, hey, what kind of glue do you use? Now, traditionally in furniture making, they use hide glue. Well, hide glue, as in animal hides boiled down, made into glue. So I'm like, hey, maybe they are. Now, most of the time, most US manufacturers aren't. Probably all of them aren't, but I wanted to be sure. This was a while ago when I first became vegan. And I asked the rep, I said, hey, what kind of glue do you use in your furniture? He's like, well, why? I'm like, because I'm a vegan and I only do vegan interior design. And so I want to make sure that you're not using a hide glue. He's like, Risha, in 40 years of being a rep, 30 years of being a rep for this company, I've never had anybody ask me that question. I'm like, well, get used to it. So we had to go back to the headquarters. They went down to the manufacturing warehouse facility, asked on the floor, get the information for me. No, they don't use, they use a man-made glue, not a hide glue. But that's what, for me, it's always asking about being curious. What is this involved? What is the product consist of? And it's not easy getting these answers. But what has done me well is just my curiosity to keep asking questions, looking into it. So my employees, they need to know, what exactly is vegan? Now, it'd be great if they were vegans, but not everybody is a vegan. And if they're willing to come on and work in a vegan company, that they need to know what being a vegan is. You know what? I do a podcast with businesses, and I had Miyoko Skinner on a podcast. She owned Miyoko's Creamery one time, and when she started that business until she moved on, they let her go. It was a big thing, but they had a cafeteria that only made vegan food. So not everybody that came to the company was a vegan, but they only allowed vegan food on their property. Well, it was a vegan food company. And the plant on the property, only vegan products, vegan food products. And that was really inspiring and interesting and they provided meals. Was that whenever they were open, they were constantly making meals. That's really living true to your values and what your beliefs are, what your principles are. I love that. So it's finding those ways to create a business that aligns with what you believe, aligns with who you want the world to be. And then the people that come into the business, that come onto the business, have to align with that. How do you train them? So it's not just, okay, how do you do A, B, C, but also what is the culture? What is the mindset? How do they do business? These are all really important things. And that's why it takes so long to really train somebody properly. But you can have them do their own training. Go find out what vegan interior design is. Go read this book. So you don't have to go, watch these videos. So it's not like the training. You can say, go and research what are the top 3 learning about vegan lifestyle is about. Yeah. So today is good. even though I'm sad about my office coordinator, what are you going to do? I'm so happy for her. She is very thrilled about a new opportunity, and she has been so integral to Walden Interiors and getting this growing and keeping our projects on track. We're going to miss her. Got to figure it out. All right. Well, I have blabbered on about things that are happening in my business, in my life, and that's what Design Tea is. We're always here. Well, I can say always, but we try to be here every Tuesday at 4:00. Sometimes we're late. Sometimes never. We're here at 4:00, and we're just talking the Design Tea. You're always free to reach out, ask questions. If you have comments, we'd love to hear from you. We'll talk about anything about design, about business, what it takes, because it can be hard, but this is, life is hard. And what kind of hard do you want? Well, this is kind of hard I want. I want to bring beauty into the world, and I do that with interior design. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And Elizabeth will be with me next week on Design Tea. We'll see you then. Thanks so much for joining us, or just me today.